You loved SummerSlam. You loved it. You love it because the mainstream media tells you to love it. Hello, welcome to Tim and Joel. Call it in the ring. I don't know what that was about. SummerSlam was something.
Did you actually not enjoy it?
Did you actually enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. I thought it was actually quite a good show.
I thought it had quite a few good moments. It's a good start. I'll say that much.
Oh, I'm not going to sit here.
It still had a number of the it still had a number of the same trappings, but like, you know what? Started off pretty good.
They did a pretty good job of starting hot. They did a good job of getting you invested in a show that, honestly, if they had had more than a week of Triple H at the helm of creative, probably could have done a lot better.
And
but given what they had, they did a pretty good job. I will give them kudos for doing something on such short notice, making sense of a lot of things on such short notice, or trying.
And that's what I wanted to kind of stay with it. Is that like he had no runtime, but I will say, I think it's happening faster than we were talking about. We talked about this much slower burn, and they kick off a show with with kind of like just a statement made, right? Like, damn good women's match, which is not uncommon. That's been pretty standard, especially with Becky and Bianca.
So before we get into our hot takes,
you're gonna do all of the
we'll do the plugs. I also want to point out something that you just said. I want to touch on this. Last week we did talk about Vince McMahon and the retirement and what it meant, and I mentioned maybe they do a 90-day trial period based on certain things, like how the stocks would do or how the business would run. And then the SEC filing information came out, and that kind of changed the general consensus. That basically pushed us all into, Vince is gone mode. So I don't think there's no trial period at this point. It's very much like we're moving on.
And that was clearly once that was out, it was like, the board got rid of you. Sweet.
And
money rules.
Triple H this past weekend, really yesterday at the scrums, he was asked, what at the tryouts, he was asked, what's the new vision? And he said there's not any huge new vision. We're still going to continue the legacy of Vince McMahon, was what he said, and show respect to essentially his father-in-law. But he's like, stay tuned, because clearly there are some things that he wanted to work on. And we saw going into SummerSlam and the first match that we'll get into in a minute, that he's got he's made some phone calls as Triple H, and he's started to shore up some people's contracts and bring back some old faces. And it's good. And they're not even old faces. They're faces who were gone and who are young and have a lot of potential in the future. Speaking of our future, leave a thumbs up now on this video if you're watching here at Fightful. Wow, it's not Fightful.com. It's FightfulOverbooked.com. Tim, I've been everywhere but this channel. I missed you all. Go ahead, toss us a thumbs up here. You can leave a comment down below. Always helps. Hello, chatters. We see you. We like you. We appreciate you. And subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. We're over 13,500 strong. We're going to overtake that Fightful account. I'm telling you, the main account, they're coming. We're going to get them. You can also donate a super chat over here. You just hit that little $sign in the bottom window in the chat box. Any question, any statement, you donate it, we'll put it on the air. Supports us here at Fightful Overbooked. We appreciate you. And, we like your money and we like you. So I think that's a good match made in heaven. And our Discord. Come and join it. It's in the link in the description of the video. It's free. We talk about wrestling all the time. We even recap stuff. So if you're far behind, Mod Mike and Mod Dan are usually on it, talking about the shows and giving their perspective a little bit, and also telling you what you missed. So go ahead, check out the Fightful Overbooked Discord. Whew, let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about, Tim.
Yeah, first off, I want to apologize for my bedraggled appearance. Literally have COVID. So
thoughts and prayers to our friend Tim. I know we've talked about it. I had it. It sucked. It sounds like you're going through it, and hopefully you get well soon.
Yeah.
If I have to carry the show, I will. Not the first time, not the last time, pal.
I'm done through the worst of it now. So
all right. So we talked about imagining this show, what it would look like with more than 1 week of build under Triple H. Well, we open the show. It's Bianca and Becky, and they do have one hell of a match. Really, really good stuff. Really fun stuff. And immediately, Bianca's Titans gear. That was good stuff. She's from Tennessee. People were behind her. Becky had her Harlem Heat tribute. Maybe not, but definitely
there was a lot going on in that one outfit. I couldn't really parse it.
First thing I look at, I'm like, that's a long ass entrance ramp. I hope they have. Later on, we found out that they just had some people do the entrance from the center of the ramp. Or I was like, get the golf carts. Where are the golf carts?
No, I hate the golf carts. It was well done. I liked what they did. I don't mind a long ramp. Some people need a little dance.
We need 5 minutes and 30 seconds of walking down to the ring ploddingly.
Yeah. The entrances are a huge part of wrestling. It's like one of the more interesting things.
That's fair. You know what? I don't disagree with you. We talk about the pomp and the pageantry.
Yeah.
It was just that, like, there was no, the set design, we always talk about that. It felt like this year was a little more, a little lazier than it has been in the past.
I think they just leaned on the aesthetics of it being in a stadium rather than an arena, right? So
yeah. I mean, even last year when they did it at Allegiant Stadium, they had the LED boards that kind of stretched out beyond into the crowd. And that was cool. I like that. I wish they had brought some of that back. Instead, they just had the LED boards where the entrance was, and that was it. The rest was just rampway, make your way down, and good luck.
Well, when Vince has drafted up a large tribute to sexual misconduct, you got to kind of throw it in the trash and start over when the new guard comes in. So I understand that they had to scramble to put together something a little more tasteful.
Triple H in the back just being like, can we turn off the lights everywhere? Oh, it's going to be dark? All right, good enough.
Perfect.
Turn off all the lights. Let's go.
Get some fake ass torches up in this B.
Could you imagine? God, there's some really good stuff in this match. I mean, listen, they did the barricade spot without going through the barricade. I know you love
it. Love that.
KOD, the KOD on attempt onto the barricade, and then Lynch does the leg drop instead on the back of the neck. It looked really good. Just a lot of chemistry at these two. Becky hitting a diamond dust. Everyone's going to talk about it. It's Masato Tanaka's move. Becky's done it before. Looked good. Looked real good. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I love this. I shouted this out on Twitter, the finish. I really, really love the Spanish fly coming out of the manhandle slam attempt. And then they went directly into the KOD. They didn't waste time. There was just, Bianca had to do it. It was
how it should be. Yeah. It was really, really excellent. Like it just showed like, aha, I've learned. Haha.
Yeah. Just
had number. To do it. I have it.
Exactly. Had to get right into it. She gets the pin. Bianca retains. The people who were like, it's going to be a 26-second match. Maybe not. But instead, turned out to be a great match. And at the end, we have a hug between Bianca and Becky. And Tim, did you think it was going to turn into Bianca, or not Bianca, but Becky being like, haha, and then turning on her again?
I didn't expect kind of, yeah. Kind of. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't. Heel Becky's been doing fine, I thought.
Instead, Bayley's music hits,
which was not surprising at all to me. That I fully expected. I was like, okay,
It's been one of those things that people have been talking about for months now. Bayley's coming back. It's been over a year. She hasn't been in front of a live crowd in like 800 and something days, whatever it was. And it's great to see her back. Very excited. And what made it even better was the fact that she didn't come back alone. After Bayley's music hits and she comes out, Dakota Kai is behind her. Dakota Kai was released a few months ago. People were pretty upset, and she wasn't even released. Her contract expired, and she was like, "Forget this, I'm out of here." And so clearly, certain things had changed, and they brought her back, which is great. There's more news on that on Fightful Select. Yeah. And then Io Shirai, who is now going by the name Io Sky. Of course, the discourse starts. I don't like the name.
Rage, everyone, rage in the comments. It's fine. I don't care.
I like the name.
I disagree with you. I have no problem with that name change. Like, I don't know. What do you want? It's an American audience. They rename stuff for you people all the time. Like,
they call her the Genius of the Sky. They've been calling her that since.
Which now they can no longer do.
Why not?
Like, because that will sound awful.
The Genius of herself.
The Genius of the Sky, Io Sky. No.
Yeah. What did you think of them? I guess because Io is a legitimate name for her. Putting the Y in there, making it EYO. Was that a little strange?
America, baby? I don't know. I just looked at another thing that was American and I was like, yeah, that's pretty American.
Bunch of kids going to be born named Io.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hot
start. I think that was the perfect open, at least for me, because it really showed we're doing stuff differently. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to tell a different story. This was a bit of a reset button, especially in a women's division that sorely needs it.
Yeah, and right after that, Triple H on his Twitter account is like, oh, we're just getting started. And I was like, oh, that's a bit more bold than I expected. But yeah.
I made the joke. I made the joke on Twitter when Triple H was named the creative director and when Stephanie took over. I said I'm waiting for one of them to do one of those Tony Khan-esque tweets going into Raw. Stephanie McMahon's going to be like, Olivia Benson broke the legs of the person that she was chasing, just like our Universal Champion's legs aren't broken, but unlike the guy on Wednesday nights, and some shot at AEW and CM Punk. Either way, not the case. Instead, it's just Triple H looking forward to the future. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, it's really good to see. It's a lot. It's very surprising to me. I did not expect it to start so quickly. And again, still some of the trappings, but it was a week.
Yeah, and with Raw tomorrow night, I mean, we're going to see some debuts. We're going to see some returns. I wouldn't be surprised to see Solo Sikoa make his debut. Of course, everyone's talking about Johnny Gargano making a return. Now more than ever, I think Johnny Gargano is probably the guy who benefits the most from all of this.
Yeah, like I mean, he was like a legitimate star in little old NXT with no hope for him on the main roster, given Vince McMahon's masculine fetishes. Anyway,
you know who else comes up if they sign Johnny Gargano? And I'm sorry, some people are going to like this thought, but Grayson Waller comes back.
Oh, Grayson Waller. Does he?
They have a story to tell. Well, Grayson Waller, he's still around 2.0. He's feuding with just about everyone, kind of like Theory. There's clearly a lot of people who like Austin Theory backstage and who like a Grayson Waller as well. But the point is, you had Johnny Gargano leave with Grayson Waller basically, hitting him with a chair, sending him out the door.
Yeah, that was on his back. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of opportunity there to go ahead and do that. So I would like to see that, but we'll see. Grayson Waller is actually quite entertaining as a wrestler. He's got the right heat and he's actually quite a good wrestler. Just fact is. Yeah.
Do you think Karrion Kross comes back?
So Sean has made reference to Kross and Scarlett a bunch of times.
Okay.
It's saying like they're two people that would fit in the Triple H mold, and I get that
because they had the awesome entrance.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like beyond the entrance, Kross didn't always do it for me.
He sure didn't.
However, as a package deal, Kross and Scarlett would probably do pretty well, depending on the character, as long as you give them. Even the character he played in NXT, it didn't really do much for me. It's just the package. It's the beauty and the beast in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
But I gotta say this. Kross looks really good right now. Not only just like he grew his hair out, he looks more like a movie star actor than he does.
Again, he looks like a contract killer. Like he should lean into that as his gimmick. It doesn't really fit his pseudo supernatural entrance, but that entrance is cool, so they have to work around it. So I don't know.
Well, speaking of people who came back and did a pretty good job, we got to talk about Hello, I Have Massive Balls. We got to talk about Miz and Logan Paul. First of all, Miz's tights right on the crotch. I loved it. That was ridiculous.
They were so gaudy. They looked like there were a million sponsorships all over the thing, but I think it was just "Hello, I have massive balls" everywhere, right?
And then like awesome and like Maurice, and it was all just him. Yeah. Miz and Maurice logos everywhere. Whatever, it was fine.
That was funny. It's funny as hell. No.
And then Logan Paul comes out in his like sponsorship clad.
A lot of people have been calling him Pikachu. I think that works. That works pretty well. Looks like a good like a evolved Pikachu. In his douchebag clothing thing, the only way to monetize is being a YouTuber beyond. Anyway,
let's be honest. Logan Paul ended up having a very, very good match.
Yeah. He damn well did. You know what that is? It's called money and time. Money and time. Yes. You just work on the things that you feel like working on whenever you want. He's in good shape and good health,
And I'll put over the Miz. He's working with a guy who has over 15 years of experience in the WWE system, has clearly been wrestling consistently for those times.
Great dance partner.
You got the right dance partner. Same thing over with when we talk about McAfee and Baron Corbin. A little different, not as good as the Logan Paul match, in my opinion. But overall, I was doing the PW Torch watch along, and I know, Tim, you jumped in for a couple of minutes, and I had mentioned, people for a little while I've been saying this. It's time for people to kind of get off Miz's dick, because he's good. He's good. He's been doing it long enough. He's trusted. He does the media whenever they ask him. He does so many things, and he deserves so much more than what he's been getting. On top of that, Logan Paul clearly did the work, clearly didn't want to look like an asshole, and respected this gig. People will be like, he respects pro wrestling. I don't care about that. I do, but Logan Paul clearly respected the gig enough to want to do well. It wasn't
exactly, and that's
it wasn't a payday for him by all accounts. It looks like this was more opportunities for Logan Paul to continue building whatever he's building in his life. It was good. You can see Logan hit a blockbuster, by the way, at one point. Watch the replay. They do a slow-mo and just watch their arms. I mentioned this in the watch along. If you watch how your arms are supposed to be placed in a blockbuster, you're threading a needle. It's not an easy move to hit. So again, Logan Paul did the work coming into this, and you said it yourself, money and time, and he had it and he did it. AJ Styles comes out, takes out Ciampa. I don't hate it. It was more like Michael Hayes in the background being like, can we get AJ Styles a payday? And then AJ Styles comes out, gets himself a payday. And Logan Paul does the Shane O'Mac frog splash, hits the skull crushing finale on the Miz, gets the win. Well paced, didn't overstay his welcome.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of quick matches yesterday. I found like they really didn't linger for most of them. So
yeah, I thought that was actually a really good point. It got people. I don't know. I think it got people more invested. They didn't do some long plotting matches. Although we got to the middle of the card and it was kind of like. There's some stuff.
I think that was just because there was some long show. The one that they really think they didn't need to linger on, they really did.
But we'll get there. We'll get there. And again, so I'll talk about the Logan Paul thing. In wrestling, normally you've got the heels doing all the moves to the faces, and then the faces hit the comeback and eventually get the win, right? That's pro wrestling psychology. Heels they're doing everything. They're the ones controlling the match. They're calling the match, yada, yada, yada. In this case, I'm sure it's the same that Miz was calling the match. Logan Paul was the one doing all the moves, though. Yeah. He was the one hitting frog splash. He was the one, doing the blockbuster, doing all the high spots. And I thought that was pretty interesting in terms of pro wrestling psychology, because people expected Logan Paul to get booed just because he's coming in and doing this thing. Instead, he, like I said, did the moves, which people like. And next thing you know, they were cheering him and cheered him throughout the match. And that was it. Logan gets the win and also gets the cheers. So they did a good job.
Yeah, and I think that might have been, some later coaching and just being like, okay, we got to get you over since it was chosen that you were going to be a face for some reason. So let's figure this out.
Maurice didn't use her balls.
Yeah, no.
Had those 2 pursed balls and didn't use them. I was so upset.
So strange.
I was not upset about maximum male models.
I loved it so much. I was so happy. It was so funny. The amount that Mace and Mansoor are leaning into this is tremendous. And if anyone hasn't gifted the fully wet-faced Mace yet, like
I'm sure it's out there.
Some comedy gold in that scene. Oh man.
First of all, Tim, we have to get this right. Masse.
I'm not gonna
Mansoir.
Okay, Mansoir. I've mostly been avoiding it because I keep forgetting what they call Mansoir.
Mansoir.
Man night. Got it.
Yes, exactly. For the French out there, it is comical as hell. This Pure Life spot, by the way, I said it on Twitter, I'll say it again, much better than last year's New Day Pure Life with the giant canister of water, whatever they were doing. I love New Day, but whatever they did, they just shoehorned it in as an not even a backstager. They did it out in the ring, and everyone out there was like, "The hell is this?"
Yeah, what just happening? Wasn't good.
So this time they got in, they got out. It was hilarious. Gotta say, maximum male models. If you don't like it, you don't have a soul. I'm just saying it. Just saying it now.
Yeah, you're joyless.
That's right. You're joyless. Yes, our pal Drew. I am titillated. They did titillate the juices of my guilty pleasures. There you go.
Very good.
Which, by the way, I'm sorry. So we talk about the WWE marketing machine. Titillating the juices of your guilty pleasures is not a catchphrase that I should be able to remember and recall terrible, like that.
But it's stuck. I don't know.
I can't believe it.
So bad it's good, if you will. Like
what didn't stick? Let's talk about Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley.
Austin Theory just continuing the tour of getting his ass beat like every step of the way.
But you know what that means.
Yeah, he's gonna win.
That's right. He's gonna get so pissed off, and he's gonna win the WWE Championship. The Theory and Lashley, it was fine. I didn't spend a lot of time paying attention. I
No,
gotta
me
be honest.
neither. Like,
There
who
was some cool
cares?
stuff
Like,
at the end. I really liked Theory trying to go to that roll through that he normally hits,
yeah,
and instead Bobby Lashley flips him around, turns it into a gorilla press, and into the hurt lock, which was fine. And then, as expected, Theory loses, so you know what that means, which we just talked about.
yeah.
I didn't hate the preliminary or the pre-match beatdown that Theory did. I didn't hate that.
No, yeah, that was fine. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely got some frustration out. And then, of course, Bobby Lashley gets the post platform in the middle of the ramp. Was that there all night? Or I guess they kind of like hit it off to the side.
Slide it in and off. Yeah. They got all those roadies. So
Mysterios versus Priest and Finn Balor.
I can't stress how much I just didn't give a crap about this at all. And it just kept like I found myself looking at Finn Balor's pecs, and I was like, did he contour? No, he's just that cut. But it looked like he contoured those. So, anyway. But that's how much
he hasn't eaten more than a morsel of a donut in 25 years.
Yeah, it's insane. Like he must not eat at all, but only liquid protein.
We were all waiting for Edge. We were all just waiting for
exactly, and we knew he was coming. Like, it wasn't even. And then they did the stupid Brood entrance again, which I know everyone must enjoy. I hated it. I'm sick of. That's the same thing we've seen like 3 times now, and he doesn't come back more broody. He literally just started Purple Brood and got his ass kicked out of it. Like,
so how did we feel about Edge's haircut? His refreshed haircut.
I thought he looked like a dork.
I thought he looked better than he did when they had him do Rhea Ripley's haircut.
Yeah, that's true. Fair. Fine with that. It's an improvement, but it's like kind of squared off. I said he looked like a weird bearded Duke Nukem, like with the sunglasses and his aggression, like, and all the red. I don't know. Didn't work for me.
Duke Copewell. Edge, yeah. Adam, Duke Nukem, Copeland.
Yeah.
Nice of the Mysterios, by the way, to dress up like the Family Guy chickens, because this feud never ended.
It's like it's just man, and no Dom turn. Like, there's nothing to dig into here. It's just
Monday night. There's a guy, there are a few people on Twitter who are like, Bayley's coming back tonight. Bayley's coming back. And they would do this on like Monday and Tuesday and then Friday and then the next pay-per-view. They would do it every single show. I'm going to start doing this with Dominic every single show. This Monday, because Edge is back, Dominic is going to turn and join that group. They're going to join Judgment Day.
At this point, it's illogical not to. He's just content getting his ass. Oh, I guess they won.
And then in his first promo, he's going to be like, I never thought I was going to be as turned on as I was getting beat up by Rhea Ripley every week.
Oh, no.
But Rhea, come here for a minute. And then they're going to make out. Dominic Mysterio is going to make out with Rhea Ripley. That's right. TV14. Because Dom Mysterio is going to become Sub Mysterio. Dom
Mysterio is then the stand-in for like all these weird teenage boys, and we're back to the Attitude Era, and it's horrible.
Look at us. By the way, this match was a no DQ match, right? They're treating it
supposedly
like
they were very concerned about getting disqualified for this no DQ match. Like,
it was very strange. They're sitting on the apron waiting for their turn to come into the match. It's very strange.
This was the worst thing on the whole thing.
I'd say so. I felt bad for Rey Mysterio. He went to drop the dime after the 619, but the ropes were kind of wobbly, which played into most of the night too.
A few things, yeah.
Yeah, and so he does the dime, but thankfully doesn't land on his neck. And he punches the ropes after he gets up because he's so pissed off. Yeah, it's like that was my moment, and it just got ruined by the ropes.
Yeah,
so
it sucks.
Can't punch a referee. So that was the match. It happened. Whatever. Again, Dom Mysterio, he's going to turn on Monday. That'll happen. Right?
Why is his hair so bad? That's his choice. He chooses.
I assume that's a choice. Yeah. I once had a barber try to give me that in the back, where kind of like kind of levels off like that, like the triangle in the back. He does the mullet. I don't do a mullet.
See, no one's out there giving him shit as a kid, right? Because his dad's Rey Mysterio. So he didn't get a healthy amount of shit to teach him to not cut his hair like that.
Well, that and because they had they had all that Louis Vuitton,
all that money.
All that Louis Vuitton. That's all they wear.
Yeah,
He had a Louis Vuitton backpack when he went to school and he was in kindergarten. Kids were like, "What is LV? Is that your name? Are you from Las Vegas?" And then he had to explain to him, and suddenly he was the coolest kid in school because he had a Louis Vuitton bag, and like nobody knew what to think.
I don't know, man. It's weird to me. Gaudy logo, gaudy hair.
Pat McAfee hired a men's choir. And while the men's choir is here, go ahead, leave a thumbs up on this video. You can donate a super chat, get your question or statement around the air, hang out with us, support us here at Fightful Overbooked. First of all, Graves and Cole was a choice at first to be on commentary, but I didn't hate it because they ended up using Graves quite well in this as like Corbin's best pal.
They set it up. They're just like, we're not gonna pretend that we aren't biased here. Like, oh, good.
It was good stuff.
It's like I liked you better when you didn't have opinions.
Yes. And then Cole's like, well, that's changed. A lot has changed.
A lot of things have changed. He sounded so like, honestly, just Cole through this whole Michael Cole through this entire show was the highlight to me. Like that was the best part.
Shout out to our friend Cher Delaware, who used to do a podcast on fashion wrestling called Strong Style. There's an episode on somewhere in the archives. Yeah. We'll bring it back one day when I nail down a time for her to sit and talk about fashion with me. Love our Cher Delaware. Anyway, yes, I liked it when you weren't allowed to have opinions. Clearly the best thing on this card. Corbin, by the way, doing The Rock, getting on commentary and giving a shout out to Pat McAfee's parents. Good stuff. I really enjoyed that. The match was so stupid. It was peak sports entertainment. I loved it.
Yeah.
As impressive as Pat McAfee's vertical is, he wasn't able to hit both feet on the ropes and stay at the top. Instead, he had to kind of recover from his knees and then hit the superplex. And then
every time I looked up, it was kind of slop. Like I found.
So he goes to do that
swanton. Ring. Yeah, the swanton. My God, he's lucky he's not dead.
It was weird. Corbin kind of got his back underneath Pat to catch him instead of actually try to like have him.
He was able to like kind of push his shoulders out underneath him so that he didn't land square on his neck.
Yeah,
it was kind of a check rather than a catch.
Yeah, it was like the best thing that they could do in that moment because it looked like it could have gone real bad. But you know what? At first I was like, good of Corbin to catch Pat, and then I was like, I guess he kind of
he did what he could. Like he did bump him so that, like I said, he was actually able to tuck under a bit rather than just.
And I see in the chat they're saying, mind the ropes because of the humidity and stuff. Honestly, I think they just kind of knew, but they said, forget it. I'm going to do it anyway because it's part of the match and it's what we planned.
They did their spots right, and
exactly,
especially a celebrity guy, like you're not going to change it up all.
It's in his head. It's all there. But McAfee hits a Canadian Destroyer after he kicks.
Did he? That's not how he finished. That might have been the plan, but that's not how he ended the show.
Well, first of all, he kicked Corbin in the balls, as one does.
He kicked Corbin in the balls. That he did successfully. And then he did what I believe was described as a code red after, because it was not a Canadian Destroyer.
It's the same damn move.
No, he hopped over. You got to get it's the put your head between my thighs is the Canadian Destroyer. Put my thighs over your tum is the code red. So that's why
Pat McAfee won the stupid match.
He did win the stupid match, as expected. I literally called. I haven't been doing any of the predictions, but I literally called the winner of everyone in this pay-per-view. Like it was easy.
Nothing was really in doubt. No. If you kind of read the tea leaves and see what's going on in the world, and we'll get to one match in particular that had people going back and forth. But first, Drew comes out, and Drew McIntyre is like, "I'm a Nashvillian," and he gets in that mid-ring box, the mid-ramp box, and I love that he's clowning on Reigns and Lesnar. I really enjoyed that.
That was funny as hell. Like that was a breath of fresh air. Something that I don't think was going to happen before the new era.
It was something we didn't get from Drew, that we haven't seen from Drew since he was champion, because he was having fun and he was like, everyone loved what Drew McIntyre was doing as champion. Not everyone,
that's right, but they're all sticks in the mud.
People who don't like wrestling, people who just like old school. Anyway, I'm just messing around. So he's clowning on Reigns and Lesnar, being like, it's the first time ever in Nissan Stadium in Nashville in the last man standing match with a kid named Cole.
Colt.
Like, what's
Colt.
He says, "What's your name, kid?" It was good. I love that he drew
that kid looked he was very weird in his delivery of his name. He was like, after he gave him his name, he's like,
"Is that my name?"
Yeah.
is that my name?
Did I just make up a name for some reason?
and then Drew makes reference to his magic sword, and then we get pyro.
God, can you imagine?
Segment.
I'm glad they timed it well. It'd be embarrassing if they didn't.
Yeah. It was a fine segment because he's got the match at Clash at the Castle in Wales and Cardiff, which will be fun. We'll talk about that when we get to the main event and what we expect from there. But it was a good little segment. I think it just reminds us that Drew is next in line, and not only that, but Drew is from Nashville and lives there now and deserved a little bit of a moment. So it worked for me.
Yeah, it was
tag
good.
titles.
It was really
Did
good.
the tag title match work for you?
No.
Okay.
I was bored the whole time. Like after the last one, it was just like, okay.
This one had a little more storytelling to me, especially at the end. First of all, I got to shout this out. So this was the first time that the tag titles were defended on consecutive SummerSlams, not including the kickoff show. So on the main card, this is the first time that the Usos that any team has defended the tag titles consecutively. So the Usos from last year to this year, they've held some form of those tag champions. Jeff Jarrett comes out. Michael Cole is like this close to saying that he's working Ric Flair's last match tonight.
A busy weekend.
Just says he's got a busy weekend. And I'm just like, say the match. Say he's doing it. Say it. Kate Elizabeth and I will be doing the post show, by the way, for Ric Flair's last match tonight on youtube.com/Fightful. So check that out because I'm sure we'll have much to say about a card that looks stellar. Plus Ric Flair's last match.
Plus it's been produced by the same people who produced the roast. Is it? Did they?
Same production. So we have to talk about the roast. Let's not talk about the roast. That was
so bad. It was so bad.
There were so many things that were just wrong.
Just insane how many insane things you can cram into one program. But
Jeff Jarrett spent the majority of this match like in the corner taking notes that he could go this morning to Rick and Andrade, and Jay Lethal and be like, "Hey guys, what if we try blockbuster in the corner and then super kick." Yeah. Andrade's just like, I like it.
That's great.
So we'll go to the finish. They do this whole thing where Tez goes and does the splash, and then he does the selling of the ribs. He's hurt. Gets the 2 count, and then he's like, if I can't get the 3 count, I'll find another way to do it. And which was weird because he's getting angry at Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett's like, I'm just here to count 3 and take notes for my big match. Okay. It was really strange. And then he runs into a double super kick, does Tez, and gets rammed into the barricade. So he's out of the match effectively. Dawkins gets hit with the one and done. Jimmy pins Dawkins. A lot of people saying, is this going to be the heel turn for the Profits, or is this going to be Montez Ford turning on Angelo Dawkins? How do you feel? Is it going to be the heel turn, or is it going to be the splitting of the team?
I don't know. I don't think we need to do either of those things, but I think it's maybe the team goes heel. I'm trying to think of the balance of heels and faces here, but it's all like, I don't know. There aren't that many tag teams. So.
No, and it's time to start jumbling up the teams as well. I think it's heel Profits. I really do. Yeah. I don't think anyone's turning on anyone. I think we have angry, disappointed Montez Ford. Dawkins is disappointed. I think Montez does something in a match on Monday that takes it a little too far, gets disqualified, and Dawkins is like conflicted, but then he flips the switch and joins his partner. They beat up whoever it is, and we're off to the races. Heel Profits.
Yeah, I mean, gives them a different kind of look at things. You lose the line item where you have to keep buying solo cups.
Yeah.
And I will say I'm kind of tired of them being forced into being the mouthpiece for whatever gimmicky crap they're doing that week, and then they just have to get it over. Like, give that to somebody else, somebody like hungry who hasn't had a ton of camera time, and then like let them move on to bigger and better things.
Von Wagner.
No, someone who can talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, Raw guest host and hype man, Von Wagner.
Jesus. I can't even.
Riddle comes out. He's pissed. He commandeers a microphone, and he's just like, "I'm going to do things in honor of my friend Randy." I'm over the Randy.
Did he yell at someone in the audience?
I have no idea.
There was something weird there that felt like he said shut up or something like that felt very serious and heelish, and I was like, what the
it was the medical team, not the medical team, but like the producer team were like, get out of the ring, you're not cleared, and he's just like,
shut up.
It felt very uncharacteristic of Matt Riddle.
It was too aggressive for him to. Yeah, anyway, that was weird.
It's gonna be good when Riddle eventually turns heel. That's all I can say. So he's pissed off and he just runs his mouth and says, I want to beat up Seth Rollins. Seth comes out and he plays Red Rover with Riddle and the rest of the production crew.
The running was so funny. And then around the corner, and he's not going full sprint, but he's going to make it look like he's going full sprint. And oh my God, it was so good. It was
Seth stomps Riddle once again. And you know what? They took this match off the card, and it makes sense. A lot of people affiliated with the card were upset. Seth and Riddle were not happy about getting pulled from SummerSlam, but this match should be a much bigger attraction than it has been so far.
Exactly.
It needs another 5 weeks of build to make it a hot match. Otherwise, they were just going to put out a match where people were going to do what they always did when Vince McMahon was in charge, where they say, well, I don't care about the build of the story, but Seth and Riddle are really good in the ring, so they're going to have a great match.
Yeah.
I don't want that anymore.
Over.
I don't
they pulled
use that
like,
excuse anymore.
They're like, no, you can have a moment at SummerSlam that will then feed into this build. Like, and it was good. I'm really glad with what they did with this. I didn't need to see that match just yet.
Yeah. So I'm fine with the way they played it out. It just, I'm willing to give this more time because now Seth is a big Triple H guy. Riddle is a big Triple H guy. These two have the potential to make some really, really good magic as characters and not just fight each other and have a good match. I want more than just we're going to fight and have a good match.
Yeah.
Liv and Ronda, speaking of, I want them to have a good match. So going into this match, everyone was saying, Ronda's going to win, or there's going to be, it was basically like, oh, Ronda's winning or whatever it is. And I sat there and I said, well, no, Ronda's working Clash at the Castle. Like, there's no way that Ronda Rousey's not going to work a massive UK show where they've sold 60,000 tickets or whatever the number is. On top of this, Ronda yelling at a crowd member on Friday night and being like, shut up, your mom's ugly, or whatever the hell she said.
Your mother failed you.
Your mother failed you. Either way, I was just like, to me, that's a heel thing, because normally Ronda would just like say it off screen or keep her mouth shut. But because they're turning her, they just like let it happen. I like the match for the little things. Liv playing the inexperienced MMA fighter. Ronda is very clearly the experienced one who keeps going for the armbar. And then Morgan tries the Rings of Saturn. There's some good stuff in there. They kept doing the armbar spot. The third time I was like, this is dumb. But the pin and the messy finish, I didn't hate that.
No, it was a novel messy finish, or at least one that's less frequently used. It wasn't lazy. Like it looked like there was some thought put into, okay, how can we continue this without it being the same tired crap it always is? Like they did something that was different-ish. I mean, we kind of had the Street Profits thing, but like this was different because it was actually, it looked like it was well practiced. She tapped it too. There's lots to debate about. It's good stuff. Like I liked how it finished. Again, I didn't really give a crap about the match because I'm not a huge fan of either of these people, but like it was fine. There was some good stuff in there, and then the finish was dope.
Ronda turns, attacks the ref, attacks Liv Morgan. We'll probably get 3 weeks off until Clash of the Castle.
Yeah, the ref attack, I was like, oh, can you just please do your job for like you don't need to talk even. You just be a jerk now. Like at least they turned her. Thank God.
Yeah. And it was time. Ronda Rousey wants that title. She's going to have to be a real jerk to get it. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And again, they'll do it at Clash of the Castle. They might even make it a 3-way. They ran that Charlotte promo, and I'm like, she's coming back. Or they'll just toss in Natty because someone needs to get pinned. Yeah. If Liv retains, the SmackDown Women's Championship. So, it was a fine match. It was good enough, is what.
Yeah, exactly. It was fine.
It felt like, to me, because of where it was placed on the card going into the main event, it always, to me, felt like the match was a story match to move forward. It was just a chapter. It wasn't the final chapter of the rivalry. It was just them getting to whatever's next, which is going to the UK and doing a big match at Cardiff.
One thing I'll point out, Liv with the facial expressions was something. Like, I don't know what she was trying to convey.
Which ones? She had
The
many.
ones coming in were clear. She was, scared.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, good. You did that day well on the acting classes. And then at the end, she was getting all unhingedy. Like, she was on the floor, just like going like,
Kept her title.
yeah.
Happy to be
And it
here.
was just like, but she was also like crazy eyed about it. It was like, okay.
I had to go back and look at that because I just
Yeah.
it felt like maybe she just escaped and she was just happy to have escaped with her title.
Yeah, and that's what I think it was, but it's also like, who are you? What is your character? Like, because right now it seems like someone who's happy to be champion but legitimately not good at wrestling, or like afraid, like really has no confidence in herself whatsoever.
They're positioning her as like the plucky underdog even as a
Yeah.
champion, and there's parts of it that I don't like, and then there are parts that make perfect sense to me because the way that Liv won was, after winning a ladder match, great, comes out and beats the woman who was also hurt after her title
Yeah.
match. So like the idea of the plucky underdog, like she beat someone who was quote unquote better than her and was a champion, and now she's the champion, but she's not sure of herself. They're gonna try and tell a story where Liv has to get better at believing in herself, and having a statement win would do that. So, for example, someone in the chat saying Liv will lose her title to Charlotte in triple threat. I don't think so. I think Charlotte would lay down for Liv Morgan. I do. I think a lot of people give Charlotte shit and say that she always wants to be on top. Charlotte gives a lot. She really does. I think people see the number of times that she's been champion and just assume that means she always wants to win. Now, this is how I always turn it on its head. There was once upon a time in 2001 a backstage segment with RVD and Booker T. I don't know if you've ever seen this one, but Booker T is like, I'm a five-time WCW champion. And then RVD turns to Booker T and says, wow, you lost that championship 5 times? And that segment like turned my brain around when it comes to champions and like how they're perceived as winners or losers. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, definitely. And the Liv thing is interesting. I think it makes sense to have her do the underdog thing. It's just, I hope they lean into the fact that she knows she actually lost this one. I think that would go a long way if they do that, rather than have her just delude herself and pretend like she, won by the skin of her hair or whatever.
Yeah, she has to know that she won by the skin of her teeth, like you said. She has to acknowledge this. Yeah. Especially if she's going to be a babyface champion, she has to acknowledge that she came within an arm's length of losing.
Well, that she lost. Like, she legitimately just lost. Like, if the ref had made the right call, like, she lost. So I think that should give her some like fear, and maybe, I don't know, maybe she goes on a non-title losing streak or something. But
they'll do something in the interim while it'll probably be Natty, to be honest. If we live in Natty for the title, like in the 5 weeks before Clash at the Castle, where they'll be like on SmackDown, Rousey, you're suspended, and then Liv's going to come out and be like, no, that's horseshit. I want a championship rematch against Ronda Rousey, blah blah blah. I'm a fighting champion and this isn't over. And then it'll be Liv calling out Rousey or wanting to fight Rousey this entire time while having another feud. And it was not a botched finish. It was supposed to be
I think it was supposed
questionable.
To be like
because the whole thing is they're trying to get to the UK to run this match back. That was always a plan, to have Rousey do the match in the UK, and Liv is now the champion. So they want to build that with her as well. It was planned.
Yeah. No, I think what Jeremy's saying is like, was it supposed to be like closer to the wire? But I don't think so. I think 2 was fine. I think they were like anywhere after 2 was fine.
Right. Yeah. Either way, you just give a little bit. They bring out Glenn Jacobs. He says 48,449 people at SummerSlam. Cool. And then the main events. It's Roman versus Lesnar, part 2,878. Last man standing. 2 things about this match, Tim. Did you know that this was the first last man standing match in SummerSlam history?
No, that's cool.
And here's another one. This is actually a really big shocker for me. This was Brock Lesnar's first ever last man standing match.
Does seem surprising given the amount of gimmick matches he's done.
Right?
Like, I would have thought there'd been one with Angle or something. Like, no.
I thought there would have been one with Angle. I thought maybe one with Goldberg, but no, this was his first last man standing match for Brock Lesnar. Roman came out 5 minutes 30 seconds for his entrance. For those who really care, this is Brock's 9th SummerSlam, and he made
That's also
one hell
lower
of a
than I
match.
expected.
Well, you got to remember, like there were 10 years where he wasn't there. 8 years.
Yeah, but still, like SummerSlam was there in all of the years he was. So
true. Corey Graves makes an Iron Maiden reference. Good for you.
Yeah.
I appreciated that. Did you miss it?
I think so. Yeah.
He made a Number of the Beast reference.
Oh,
And then, of course,
ever.
Well, it's because it's the Number of the Beast, right? And Brock is the Beast, the Beast incarnate. So there you go. Farming Equipment Simulator. That is the whole point of this match. Brock gets a friggin' tractor, and it's a big red tractor, not a big green tractor. I'm sorry, no. Jason Aldean. Comes out with his big red tractor and it proceeds to run amok with it. Talk about the match.
All the match stuff I didn't care about, like the regular wrestling.
Basically, nothing mattered until like a couple of table spots.
Yeah,
and the track.
No. Before the match, there was the microphone thing that was badass. Like,
yes.
And that was just a complete fluke, I think, at the smoothness of it. But that was cool.
Yeah, it was good for what it was.
The amount, like everyone,
yeah,
I saw a lot of people really not enjoying it, and I was like, no, the match sucks, and it sucks because like you knew that you didn't want to see this for the millionth time, and the wrestling stuff was boring because the two of them have done all of it 1,000 times before, so it's like whatever. But the spots that were cool were damn cool. Like I don't care. Like you're lying to yourself if you didn't enjoy that. Like I don't know what you want. Like if you don't want rings getting messed up, like oh my god,
it's just a straight drive too from Saskatchewan down to Nashville. I'm sure.
One of the I-5s, something 5 ones, right? I-55 probably.
Let's take a look. No, just we're gonna go on Google Maps and find out.
Plan a road trip to Nashville.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a really solid plunder match. That's really what it was.
Paul Heyman got F5 through a table. Like, what do you want?
Oh boy, yes he did. Oh, by the way, if you want to go to Nissan Stadium, you take I-94 West. Takes you all the way there.
West?
Yeah.
How are we going east-west?
Sorry, that's from Nissan Stadium.
You got this all ridiculous.
Well, either way, I-94 East. Are you happy now?
Yeah, that's like an interstate. Anyway.
All right, that's from Saskatoon down to Nissan. I-94 East. Good times. People are in the chat telling us how the interstate.
It is 55. Yeah, I just watched a video about interstate highway system today.
Wait a minute, 55 goes through Illinois down to Missouri and finishes in Louisiana.
Oh wait, is that the one? I don't know.
I think you're wrong because this is Tennessee.
Well, then why are they talking about that one? I guessed it was 55. Tell me the right one.
You were wrong. That's the point.
Because it was a random guess. I was hoping someone would tell me the right one. Anyway, whatever.
Anyway, Brock's big red tractor uproots the ring, and that's not the finish.
No, it was funny as hell, though.
It was very funny. And then they finished the match with, everyone comes out, including Theory. Theory gets beat down again after teasing
his ass beat. He gets F5'd onto his own briefcase. That was great.
And then they beat up Brock a bunch. Brock kicks out a bunch, or gets up before the count of 10. It was a fun
count faster, damn it.
I love that. God damn it, count
for
faster.
The love of God, yeah.
It was so funny. Michael Cole was on his shit. He had a really good show.
Yeah.
Just when the reins come off, the man is able to go. Again, you watch him when he did the UK show, and he when the reins are off, when Vince is in his ear, he's having a good time.
It's good. It's really, really great. And like, the finish, they stack a bunch of stuff on him and then he stands on him. Questionable in terms of the rules. Not sure why no one's pointing that out. You're not allowed to touch them.
He's down.
You're not allowed to touch them.
He's not. The
ref doesn't start. I'm not touching you. I'm just standing on you via a bunch of other crap I piled on. Questionable.
That's right.
Whatever. The ref was just like, no, this is over. I'm going to let it happen. Like,
I thought the finish was going to be the tractor, the front loader. I thought that someone was going to flip it over, cover the guy, just like they did with the halftime heat with The Rock and Mankind, where they did the pallets and then The Rock couldn't get up for the 10 count. I thought they were going to flip the payload, put it down on him, and then he couldn't answer the count of 10 because he couldn't do it or couldn't get up on it. But not the case. Instead, Roman retains as expected. Roman and Drew at Clash of the Castle. People are now running rampant with Roman's going to lose to Drew, and then Theory's going to cash in. I don't think it's going to be that either.
Mm-mm.
What say you?
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say because there's room for Drew to win here, but
I have a feeling that they'll find a way to split the titles.
Yeah.
Theory will do, or they'll lose both titles, and that's fine. Whatever. Then this is the whole idea. They'll recreate Heist of the Century with Theory. Theory will come in during a Roman match, make it a triple threat, and then pin not Reigns.
Yeah.
He'll hold the titles for a few minutes, and then it'll be Seth Rollins and Theory. And then Cody comes back, wins the Rumble, Seth and Cody for the titles at WrestleMania. Meanwhile, if they have The Rock and Roman doesn't have titles attached to it, which is great. Don't need them. And there you go. Good show. It was a good SummerSlam.
It was good. Started strong.
I think it bookended. It bookended.
Yeah,
well.
it certainly bookended. Yeah, there was a lot of drab in the middle. I'm disappointed by the tag title match. So,
that's
but
fair.
Jeff Jarrett's in the mix. I didn't expect much.
Well, Jeff Jarrett left a thumbs up, so maybe you should too here on this video at youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked, or maybe you're watching on Facebook, maybe you're watching on Twitch, whatever it is. We're trying a few things new this week, and we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Let's talk about AEW for a second, because they also had a bit of a reset with their pillars.
Yeah,
we saw
another
some
big
stuff.
shoe.
Yeah, let's get right into it. I mean, without talking about the entire show, just right at the top, Daniel Garcia making Bryan Danielson pass out. Good move. I liked it. It was
Great
unexpected.
Decision. Yeah, and it makes sense. Like, no, not a crazy thing. Like,
I think we spent enough time as fans saying, "Oh, it's Daniel Garcia in the main event. He's just going to lose. LOL. That's it." This was a good opportunity for them to do something different and surprise us, and they did a good job. I was really happy with that.
Yeah, it was very good. Great match too. Jeez.
As expected. I mean, listen, Daniel Garcia is an excellent wrestler. He's got Bryan Danielson in his first match back. They did a good job telling the story of Danielson having a little bit of ring rust. It was good. I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really. Yeah. Or came back too soon type thing. It was really strong. Like, I was very, very pleased to see that.
Who else had a really good showing? Ricky Starks.
Man, baby.
Ricky Starks this was his night.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was overshadowed by Starks's entire quarter hour where he had the match. He had the opening match where he won against Danhausen real quick, and then said, "I'm not done. I want another challenger." So he gets Hook. Hook wins in a fast but really good match. Both men looked good. Both men performed well. And then, of course, Hook wins, leaves, and does the fist bump, and it was good. It was the start of the turn for Starks. Comes back, cuts a promo. Powerhouse Hobbs wallops him from behind. Big fan of that. I was shocked. I think everyone was.
It's like me and Hobbs are gonna bam. Yeah. You and you, buddy. Yeah, it was good.
I really enjoyed it. They did a lot of really good stuff. I mean, even Dante Martin got another really good match with Sammy Guevara. And honestly, the only thing that really was weird to me was Jungle Boy. Yeah. He just comes out and swears.
Potty mouth Jungle Boy.
Exactly.
It was something I don't know. The one thing, did they turn all of Team Taz based on the commentary and the way, I think they turned everyone, and now it's just Will Hobbs on his own as a baddie.
Maybe. It does feel strange.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to figure it out.
Taz was on commentary as it happened, right? And he's like, "Hobbs, what are you doing?" So,
and then also they did a backstage with Taz and Hook, where Taz was putting over Hook as his, not just as his son, but also putting over the work that Hook has done to get to this point. And it was really good. It was really heart-wrenching, heartwarming, I should say. Heartwarming. And it really felt like they were trying to put over Hook as a good guy, and maybe Team Taz as good minus Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah.
You know what? It's been going through my mind, and I don't think they'll do it. But Brian Cage is doing nothing. I don't care for Brian Cage, But Hobbs and Cage is a big, hungry,
That's a good
bad guy
duo.
tag team.
Yeah.
That's a duo I would watch. So, I mean, listen, if Brian Cage is looking for something to do, maybe they're trying to do something with them, maybe in Ring of Honor. That's an idea. I don't want Hobbs to go away from AEW, but if it's going to put him on TV somewhere, I want Cage and Hobbs maybe as a tag team. By the way, someone in the chat's talking about Punk's comments at San Diego Comic-Con. If you check out Newsworthy, that's a video that Jeremy Lambert and I have been doing. We started it here on Overbooked. Go watch Newsworthy. We talked about that comment from Punk because there was an article about it. And we did talk about kind of how Punk's entitled to his opinion. He has his experiences with WWE and with AEW. I'm not going to sit here and say Punk's wrong, but I'm also not going to sit here and say that Punk's opinion is going to be the be-all, end-all for how someone should feel about WWE moving forward. That's just what I'll say to the person in the chat talking about the CM Punk comments. What else was really big on this show? That really Starks was just, that was the big one. Oh no,
Jericho.
Okay, so Jericho's getting a title shot. It's not going to be a Battle of the Belts, and it's not going to be at All Out, at least right now. It's going to be in a couple of weeks at Quake by the Lake with a Shamrock Shake.
Also, was Fight for the Fallen for Fallen Sharks this year?
Yes, it was for Fallen.
I prefer that. That's funny as hell. But like, why can't they just be Dynamite at this point, man? Like, there's literally when was it last just Dynamite? Like a month ago?
It's been about 3 weeks.
You're like, geez.
I know. And then Quake by the Lake is in 2 weeks. So this coming week is an actual regular Dynamite.
Ooh, you get one. They're all Dynamite.
They are. They're just, some of them are themed. This week is what? Beginning of the month.
Dead Shark.
Next week is going to be August Dynamite. August 3. I don't know what it is. Anyway.
Oh my God.
So Jericho's going to get the title shot against Moxley in a couple of weeks. I don't hate it. Jericho has been waiting for a title shot. It's been a couple of years. So why not?
Let him take it.
You want Jericho to win the title?
Yeah.
So back before Double or Nothing, when they did the Punk thing. Well, we're weird people, okay? Just letting you know. Weird thing.
What, the Dynamite night names? I don't know. It's kind of odd to not. It's kind of odd to have a TV show that you just arbitrarily change the name of every week. Like, they're not special. They're just episodes of Dynamite.
It's gonna be Dynamite August 3rd warning. Tito Ortiz is gonna come out and be like,
oh
I want Jake Hager
that's
to run with me for city council.
Yeah, it's all good.
Anyway, Jericho versus Hangman was the match that I originally wanted for Double or Nothing, because I wanted to reset the Hangman Jericho story for the first ever AEW champion. And then, of course, I wanted Hangman to get the win because he would have exercised the ghost of Chris Jericho, because Hangman's learned and he's gotten better, yada, yada, yada. He's a champion. They saved this Moxley match by having Moxley speak. Moxley saved the promo when he said, I don't want the wizard. I don't want the guy who, does all these stupid gimmicks. He wants the Lionheart. He wants the original, the OG. He wants Jericho from old to take on Jon Moxley, the last surviving member of the Hart Dungeon. That makes me excited for the match. Same. Because it's not, for a minute, I thought Moxley was going to be like, I want the Painmaker.
Oh, no.
But instead, no, we're going to get Mox and Lionheart, Chris Jericho. What theme will Jericho use? And why is it going to be Judas?
It's Judas. Like, someone was sharing the screenshot and he's like, I will use one of these. And it included Judas. I was like, it's going to be Judas because it's now one of the live event staples of their traveling circus, right?
Although since he turned heel, they've started cutting it and being like, you don't get to sing this song.
Yeah. But that's fine. They still been playing it long enough. Like, it gets its time. So I think it's just going to be Judas. I don't think. Because all those other ones are expensive. I can tell you that much now.
Before we get out of here, and by the way, thanks for everyone hanging out with us. Grapsity is next on the main channel. We wanted to get ourselves out here before Grapsity goes on the air, because they usually do like a 3-hour show anyway. So we wanted to hang out and give our respects to them because they're a fun show. So Grapsity's next noon Eastern on youtube.com/Fightful. Trios championships announced. Finals will be held at All Out. The timing is precocious only because they just did the All Atlantic Championship. I'll give it a pass because the All Atlantic Championship, thank God, is the championship that's not being defended
like
in AEW proper
media. Yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciated that. So yeah, we're gonna see what they do with those trios championships. Do you have any teams that you really want to see out of this?
Something with Bear Country.
Bear Country and Danhausen.
Leon Ruff.
Actually, they've done that, and I would do it again.
Exactly.
Yes. Who else would do? I mean, FTR Hausen was a funny shout someone mentioned.
That was funny.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I want to see a New Japan trio come in. Maybe do that. Maybe bring in some old folks who left the company with some without issue. You know, the GCW team of Marco Stunt, Joey Janela, and who knows, the Impact team of PCO, Doc Gal. I don't know. Anyway, I have no trios. We'll find out who they are. Finals are all out. Let's get out of here. This was a fun show, friends. Click that thumbs up, leave a comment, do the whole thing. Tim, where can the people find you on the internet?
They can find me at Tim Stonep, TIMBSTONEP, Twitter.
It's Fightful Overbooked, youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked. Tonight, Ric Flair's last match. If you're watching or listening on July 31st, I'll be with Kate Elizabeth on the main channel, youtube.com/Fightful, talking about that show. Go check out Grapsity if you're watching us live. If you're not, go check out Grapsity anyway. I am at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.